minutes. And every time a person died, they had to be taken outside of the city. But you got to look at what happened, because Jesus is coming from Capernaum, and he had just healed a dead boy, had just healed a centurion servant on yesterday. And as he's going into the city, the mother and her son is coming out of the city. Watch me. Jesus has a group with him that's excited about what happened yesterday.
Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
Jesus has a group with him that is operating in the momentum of how he healed the servant's centurion servant with just a word.
Yes, Lord.
And so everybody that's following Jesus, they're excited, they're elated, and they're going into the city of Nain. But then coming out of Nain, you have a mother whose yesterday was not so pleasant. You have a mother whose yesterday was not so exciting. You have a mother whose yesterday was not worth shouting over, not worth celebrating over. And as Jesus is coming in, this mother is coming out. I dare to touch somebody and say, Jesus, meet me in the middle. I ain't getting no help, because somebody gonna get that thing, because Jesus meets this woman in the middle. She's coming out of Nain, and he is going into Nain, and somewhere between out of Nain and into Nain, Jesus meets the woman in the middle. I wish I could get about 3 people to touch somebody and tell them, Jesus met me in the middle. Can I tell you how I know he met her in the middle? Watch this. Watch Jesus. Watch Jesus. The woman is not where she was, but at the same time, she's not where she's going. Lord have mercy. Sometimes Jesus will meet you not where you are and not where you're going. He simply meets her in the middle. And watching, because you got to understand, when folk are on this side of you and they're celebrating, and that's a good thing about ministry, because any leader, you have to be able to, if you're a good pastor, you'll be able to go over here with this family, and this family just had a wedding, they just had a baby born, and you got to be able to separate them. But at the same time, you got to pull out of their life and go and plug into another life that just lost the mother, that just lost the father, that just lost the son. And you have got to have as much compassion with the family that lost as you did with the family that gained. I ain't getting a bit of help up in here. Jesus meets the woman in the middle. And as he meets her in the middle, he now has to deal with what happened to her yesterday. Because you already got the other yesterday crowd that's saying, I know that the Lord is able. And then you got the yesterday crowd that's coming out of Nain that feel like all hope is already gone. But I dare to touch somebody and tell them things happen when Jesus meets you in the middle. Well, as he's coming into Nain, the Bible said that he see a dead man that's being carried out of the city. And the record is that he is the only son of his mother. And she was a widow. And much people of the city was with her. Do you know what that means? There were some folk that was with this mother that wanted to know how Jesus was going to handle this woman's yesterday. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, there's always somebody looking to see how Jesus is going to handle your Let me put a plug right here and talk about Mother Cooper. On yesterday, she went out of town. Put my mic back where it was. On yesterday, she went out of town. Adjust me. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? On yesterday, she went out of town to check on her daughter. And on yesterday, they said that she'd had 10 strokes. On yesterday, they said that they didn't know if the girl was going to make it. On yesterday, they said that the situation looked mighty bad. But how many know that when Jesus meets you in the middle, somewhere between Kansas City and Texas, Jesus met Mother somewhere in the middle. And by the time that Mother gets to Texas, the Lord had already handled her yesterdays. Can I tell y'all what I mean? By the time Mother walks in the room, God had already showed up. He had to move Mother Cooper beyond yesterday. So by the time she talked to the doctor said, your daughter was sick yesterday. Your daughter, we thought she had a stroke on yesterday. Your daughter didn't look like she was gonna make it on yesterday. But when we ran the test today, I ain't getting a bit of help up in here. But when we ran the test today, we didn't find anything. Somebody ought to give God some praise. Look at your neighbor and say, that was yesterday. But when the Lord move you beyond yesterday, he'll bring you in the glory of a brand new day. Can I get a witness? Well, the same mother, the widow of Nain, her boy was dead on yesterday, and folk had began to carry him to the graveyard. The mourners had already gotten paid for mourning at the funeral. The flower people had already gotten paid for bringing their flowers. The funeral home had already gotten paid for embalming the body. But I dare to touch somebody and tell them that was yesterday. But somewhere in the middle, between coming out of Nain and going in Nain, the Lord stopped the funeral procession. Look at somebody, tell them that was today. And not only that, but the Bible said that when he talked to the boys, the pallbearers stood still where they were. Can I get a witness in here? And not only that, but if you look at the record said that when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and he said, Mother, stop crying. You cried your last tear. Can I get a witness in here? But not only that, but the Bible said that he came near the coffin, and then he laid his hand on the coffin. Touch about 3 people, tell them that was today. And not only that, but the Bible said that when he touched the coffin, he began to speak to a dead man. Ain't God all right? Do you know what I like about yesterday? God is the only one that can speak